Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in the parts of the world. My name is Raymond, aka Array of Sunshine 21. Welcome you to another edition of Array of Sunshine, bringing you positive stories to light. So good to see people dropping by in the stream today. Thank you to the replay viewers. Thank you to the lurkers. Thank you for whoever's coming by on the comments. Really do appreciate you guys and your support for season three and past shows of Array of Sunshine. Tonight's show, we will have seven positive stories, four positive videos. And with the videos, I decided it's been a while since I've done um, some of the personal aspects or a person's way of achieving goals and how they succeeded and what they do. So with that, I decided to bring that back. I felt like I lacked that a little bit with the videos recently, but so tonight one of them is for positive stories for January, but the three are all personal goals and mindsets of certain people and individuals that made them succeed in life and the struggles they had to go through in order to succeed where they are or to help out. So you want to stay tuned for positive stories later on this evening. Again, I say I got seven positive stories. We're going to go ahead and get started with that. In the meantime, make sure to auto host this to your Twitch channels and make sure to share it on your social medias like Twitter and Facebook as we try to spread some positivity in 2023. So, if you guys are ready, let's go ahead and get started with story number one of this evening. We will have this on the stream here. And our first story for tonight, planned resort boasts tents suspended in the air surrounded by gorgeous mountains. And this is from Andy Corbley of the Good News Network for January 12th of 2023. And all of our stories, our positive stories for tonight, are from the goodnewsnetwork.org. Make sure to follow them. Any other stories that you don't see here tonight, it's on the website. They do a really, really good job on providing good stories and able to share them out also to people like I'm doing here. So make sure to follow them. Great, great, great website for positive stories as always. So again, our first story for tonight: planned resort boasts tents suspended in the air surrounded by gorgeous mountains. And again, it is from Andy Corbley of the Good News Network for January 12th of 2023. If you guys are ready, let's go ahead and get started with our first story for this evening. And here we go. Look at those mountains. Pictures of those mountains look very, very beautiful. And that is the floating retreat. So let's go ahead and take a look at this floating resort in the mountains here. Um, in the UAE's Sharjah Mountains, a concept resort spans a vast mountain gully with floating tents hanging in the air. The ultimate in mountain glamping, the so-called floating retreat, is the brainchild of Dubai-based design studio RD Architect, who were tasked to investigate a new kind of hospitality that blended environmental awareness and appreciation for nature with modern comfort. The images, while striking, create a whirl of questions, not least of which involve safety. Continuing on, the idea that the pods are actual tents creates the confusion. Essentially, the 10 luxury hotel rooms designed with state of the art fabric walls sit docked to a large bridge spanning the gully between two mountain peaks. Visitors check in at a reception desk at the bottom of the mountain before presumably taking an elevator to the bridge level. Once inside, the tent or the room can be raised and lowered according to the guest's desires. Quote, the floating retreat project has several key values at its core, writes Arda. One of the main goals of the project is to re energize the local community through tourism by providing a space for people to connect with the natural beauty of the region and to learn about its rich culture and heritage. Concept images show people along the deck connected to a series of harnesses to prevent them from falling off the railingless edge. And I wanted to say this is the first pictures here. Tim, Tim, thank you so much. Wow, for the resub, Tim. And I will put this on here. How you doing, Tim? So good to see you. 12 months, 1 year subscribed. Thank you so much, Tim. Hopefully you're having a great Tuesday. So good to see you. And I'll go ahead and put the plug up here right now, and also will be at the end. Check out the Mental Health Hour with Tim and Gemma tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific here on Twitch, and follow Tim's channel at Tim Conrad1. So good to see you in here, Tim. Um, as we are taking a look at the picture again of the resort tents in the mountains here, floating resort tents. Looking at that first picture, that's amazing. Um, to see, they're taking pictures of above, and you got balloons and a nice sunset right there. And then the next one, there's your floating retreats right there on the second picture there. It looks amazing. And how they invented this, I have no clue. But that looks amazing, just being in the mountain area as well. All right, so those were the couple of pictures. All is well. How you going? I am doing good, Tim. I am doing good. Um, been a little bit tired. I did work yesterday, but um, took care of some personal things today, which is a bonus, and luckily got them accomplished. One of them I did. I didn't expect the second one to be, but that got accomplished as well. So turned out to be a great Tuesday. Now I'm just wondering what I'll be doing tomorrow, but all is well in my neck of the woods. So, all right, let's continue on with the tents here, because this is amazing stuff here. Continuing on, the tents are designed with privacy in mind and can be positioned in various configurations to prevent overlap or proximity to other tents. The side fabric of the tents is made of a blur fabric, while the front of the tent is made of clear material to provide uninterrupted views. There are several layout options available, including configurations that are suitable for business retreats or yoga sessions, and others that are suitable for spiritual or psychedelic retreats. The layouts can be chosen to suit the specific needs and preferences of the guests. Continuing on, quote, individual tents and pods of the floating retreat are designed to bring luxury and comfort to those who cannot participate in mountain climbing or other adrenaline-filled outdoor activities, said Erda. Amenities such as guided tours in the area, a five-star spa facility at the top of one of the mountains, and a restaurant at the foot are all planned for as well. And that's the key thing. If they can't do skiing or the mountain climbing, anything with heights, um, I say that's kind of incredible, you know, and just be suspended in the air there, just to take in the views. I mean, imagine that if you have this floating tent, taking in a view of, hey, seeing two air balloons or seeing a sunset through the mountains there. That's incredible stuff. It blows your mind to think what uh, they can invent. So amazing in this future to take it next level. So maybe say goodbye to log cabins and hello to floating tents on the mountains there. And could be more to come. It could go through like beaches or something. So we'll see. But this is incredible stuff here. Of the planned resort, boasts tents suspended in the air surrounded by gorgeous mountains. And again, this is from Andy Corbett at the Good News Network for January 12th, 2023. And that is coming to a mountain somewhere near you around the world there. That's pretty amazing stuff there to read. So, what a way to kick off the first story of A Ray of Sunshine. And again, we got 7 positive stories tonight, and we got 4 positive videos as well. Stay tuned for the videos. Again, I stated earlier, more tonight. I'm going to do more of the individual stories of people and their successes and how they accomplished stuff. Some goods and some that started bad that turned out good. So I picked out a few good videos for that. So stay tuned for that later on this evening. Story number two is a man who spent his life helping disabled people find a home has won a 2.5 million pound country house in a raffle. So this is a British story here. And this is for Andy Corbett of the Good News Network for January 13th of 2023. So there's the young, or I should say it's probably a guy, he looks young. I'll still say young man. But again, a man who spent his life helping disabled people find a home and has won a $2.5 million country house in a raffle. So if you guys are ready, and put Tim's comment there, he says good, good on my end there. Let's go ahead and get started with story number two for this evening. We'll drink a little H2O here. And here we go. A man who has spent years helping disabled people find homes has won a 2.5 million pound country house in a raffle. Grant Carson scooped up the 5-bedroom farmhouse, complete with 8 acres of the Lake District, after entering the Omaze million-pound house draw. The 58-year-old widower said that he can now get a dog, which was what he always wanted, but was always out of the question due to chronic arthritis he has had since he was 7. Continuing on, the new home is surrounded by idyllic countryside, and he can definitely afford a dog walker because, along with the house, he was also given £100,000 in cash. The house raffle was organized by Omaze, a charity raffle that lets people support a good cause with the hopes to win a prize, such as a guitar played by Jimi Hendrix, or lunch with George Clooney, or in this case, a house. Carson worked at the same Glasgow charity for 27 years, helping disabled people with all aspects of life, and had never won anything before. He was understandably stunned when the Omaze team surprised him at his 3-bedroom home in Glasgow. So here's a picture here. I wonder if this is the picture of the house he won. If it is, it does look. It looks nice. It looks very peaceful. I'm just looking at that and got all the land there. So if that's what he's won, that's kind of a good house there that he won. Let's continue on with a quote. It's not your average Friday night that someone comes to your door and tells you that you won a $2.5 million or 2.5 million pound house, said Carson. I might be one of the luckiest men in Scotland. He recently decided to embark on a new career path as a freelance consultant. Quote, I've just left my old job helping disabled people across Glasgow, which I had done for 27 years. But this one has given me a financial security I never dreamed of, which means I can focus on my new venture, helping organizations to meet the needs of disabled customers with a lot less pressure. Carson is not compelled to live in or keep the house. He can either move in, rent it, or sell it. He doesn't. He, but if he does decide to rent it out, local rent estate agents estimate the property could yield more than £5,000 a month from rentals. And I love to know what pounds in American dollars is, but um, it is what it is. Quote, I love the Lake District. It's one of the most beautiful places in the country. I'm still pinching myself that I actually own a house here, said Carson. I'm not sure what I'll do long term yet, but I'm going to move in for a while and enjoy it. On that note, the 18th century house is surrounded by stunning scenery, with a tree lined garden and wild hay meadows surrounded by rolling green hills. It boasts a standalone guest suite with vaulted ceilings and its own kitchen, bedroom, bathroom, and living space. The Omaze drawing was held to raise money for Dogs Trust, the UK's largest dog welfare charity. Together, the raffle raised £850,000, or about, in American dollars, $1 million. Um, Quote, "We're so grateful to everyone who entered," said Owen Sharp, chief executive of Dogs Trust. "The money raised we go towards our vital ongoing work to take care of dogs and find them their forever homes, which at the moment, sadly, so many are in need of. Having worked at a charity for so long, I know firsthand how important it is to raise money. I think the Omas draws are fantastic for the charitable sector," Carson said. And you're right, all this money going to charity again to help dogs find a home. Good way to put money in to help out a cause, but also get rewarded as well. And as we see here, Mawal's in here. Hey, Mawal. As you see there, um, Mr. Carson won this lovely home and somewhere in the hills of Glasgow, Scotland. There, Glasgow, Scotland, and it's a nice home, a 2.5 million pound home, and it couldn't go to a better guy who helps out disabled people, and to win a charity that goes on to something to help animals find a home. It's incredible. So a good guy winning, um, winning for a good cause, and it's always good to be good and helpful to people. So let's think about that. You can be rewarded at the end for your generosity. So, a man who spent his life helping disabled people find a home has won a 2.5 million pound country house in a raffle. And this is for Andy Corbley of the Good News Network for January 13th of 2023. As we move on to story number 3 of 7 this evening here on A Ray of Sunshine. And let's see, there we go. And oh, this is an update of a story that I brought to you guys. I think either the end of last year or the beginning of this year when they had the Buffalo snowstorm. So this is an update. A man who broke into a school to save 20 people in a blizzard gets Super Bowl tickets from the Buffalo Bills. And this is from Andy Corbley of the Good News Network for January 18th of 2023. Again, an update to a story that that I read to you guys. I think it was the end of the year. I think that was one of the end of the year stories I did, and the blizzard happened during the end of the year. So, but I read this story. It was a very incredible story that he did, and um, to save those people from school. Now he gets rewarded to go to the Super Bowl. So how about that? Let's catch on comments real quick. Mawel says it's Ray, and it's sunshine. Sunshine. I can't read today. How's it going, my guy? It's going great, Mawel. How are you doing? Hopefully you had a great Tuesday. And what a lovely home. Exactly. Lovely, lovely home. And Tim says that's his summer home. Exactly. I think that'll be everybody's summer home, relaxation house, and all of that. So good stuff there. And guys, give my wall a follow. I will put out a shout out here. If I'm not mistaken, I think Mawal is going live in a few minutes. Well, actually, probably at the top of the hour. So um, it's some gaming. So I'm going to go ahead and um, put out a shout out to him. Make sure to give him a follow. Great guy. He just hit 300 followers, over 300 followers, which is awesome. And now he's going to do a nice karaoke stream, one of his karaoke streams once he hits a great milestone for followers. So give him a follow and enjoy his channel. A great channel, and he's doing collab week this week as well with some good Twitch streamers, so VTubers at that. So give him a follow, um, and great guy. He knows his gaming. So um, actually, here's your hint for tonight. Since that's correct, my first ever session of Fortnite. We're gonna get into some newer games now. Fortnite. That's right, because he never played Fortnite, so that's gonna be good. Uh, nah, you're the great guy, right? Oh, thank you, Malwal. No. We're all great people in here. Me, you, Tim, anybody else that are watching, y'all are great people. So Appreciate you guys so much. All right. So story number three. Let's get back to story three here. And again, like I said, it's an update to a story about you from the end of last year here. So let's take a look at this. He definitely deserves the tickets, by the way, for what he did in that snowstorm. So here we go. A man who may have saved the lives of 24 people by breaking into a school in Cheektowaga. I should be able to get that city right by now. In upstate New York, during the worst storm in a generation, has been given Super Bowl tickets by his hometown team. Jay Whitney, the 27-year-old mechanic and hero, received a reward for his life-saving actions from the Buffalo Bills in collaboration with Blue Cross Blue Shield. Legendary former Bills running back Thurman Thomas personally delivered the surprise to Whitley on Friday, reports CNN. Quote, "We love you. We know what you did on Christmas Eve was very heroic, and you're our hero." Thurman told Wiki in a video released by the team. Uh, I can't believe how far the news of his deed got. I got thank you letters from Australia. It's wild, said Whitney. And this is a tweet by the Bills here saying he rescued 24 people from their cars during the Buffalo blizzard and sheltered them in a nearby school. Thurman Thomas, P. Thomas 3434 in CBS West New York, I think, thanked Jay Whitney for his actions of heroism with two tickets to the Super Bowl. I'm not going to get into Roman numerals, but there you go. I think there's a play here, but this is watch on Twitter, so it might pop up another screen. So, but there's his tickets there. So good stuff. Again, he deserves it. Let's continue on with the story. Jay broke a window of Edge Academy on Christmas Eve in order to get 24 people, including several seniors and two dogs, out of hurricane force winds, snow, and deathly cold temperatures. He borrowed the academy's snowblower to get people unstuck from the roads and into the school. Once inside, he found granola bars, water, and blankets in the nurse's office and gathered apples, juices, and cereals from the kitchen. The group sat out the storm and before leaving, cleaned up every trace of their presence. Um, One of the group, Mario Johnson, went back to the school to replace their stock of granola bars and inquired about the cost of the window. And if I do remember that correctly, it might, yeah, it's going to say down here. But I think that the school didn't want them to replace the bars or anything, which I was about to say, but it's in the story here. The school declined to press any charges nor accept any of Mario's repeated attempts to pay for the window. They're just happy that they were safe and warm, Mario said. The selflessness that people showed to help others during the storm is what Western New York is really made of, a police spokesperson said about the incident on Facebook. So there's your update of Mr. J, and there are the people right there that he helped out, by the way, in school. So Um, very, especially that big winter storm they had there, very terrifying stuff. And we heard a lot of bad things about it, but we also heard a lot of good things as well. As you see Jay there, right there. He's going to Arizona to witness the Super Bowl, and he's going to either see either Buffalo, sorry, not Buffalo, Cincinnati or Kansas City go, or Philadelphia or San Francisco go. So should be a good game either way. Whoever advances to the Super Bowl there, but well deserved um, um, for what he did. So again, good things happen to good people that do good stuff. So a man who broke into a school to save 20 people in blizzard gets Super Bowl tickets for the Buffalo Bills. And this is from Andy Corbley of the Good News Network for January 18th of 2023. As we roll on to story number four, and we're going to get into a little bit of kind of science, but kind of also some interesting news about some of this stuff. So it says cancer plummets, guinea worm eradicated, bye bye Ebola, three huge wins for humanity. And this is for Andy Corbley of the Good News Network for January 19th of 2023. So three kind of like major diseases that we have heard of that kind of has went down now, which is kind of interesting and kind of good as well. So we will take a look at that as Tim got the emote up, his emote up there. And let's go ahead and get started with our next story. Um, Again, cancer plummets, guinea worm eradicated, and bye bye Ebola. So, so this is kind of a little report card from last year of 2022. Um, so let's go ahead and get started with the story here. 2022 saw major advances and even victories in the effort to combat several diseases, from industrialized to tropical ones. Starting at home, a study last year found that U.S. cancer deaths had declined by 33% since 1991. This is equivalent to around 3.8 million people alive thanks to various efforts to combat the disease family. And I can tell you firsthand before we get to move on, some stories I have seen, they're really ramping up trying to fight cancer right now, finding cures for cancer and all of that. So at 33% decline, I kind of would believe that, and still more advances to go to find a cure for cancer there. All right, let's continue on. The report was authored by the American Cancer Society and published in the journal CA. American Cancer Society CEO Karen Kunson called the drop truly formidable. While the report attributed the fall to the development of better treatments, the reduction in smoking habits, and earlier detection methods. Just between 2019 and 2020, cancer death rates dropped 1.5%, while the deployment of the HPV vaccine was correlated with a 65% drop in cervical cancer rates from 2012 to 2019 among women in their 30s. The report also found that not only are death rates falling, but 5-year survival rates for detected cancers have increased 68% among all diagnoses made between 2012 and 2018. Continuing on, cancer research often involves cutting edge medical research, but across West Africa and India, where cutting edge medicine is not widely available, human determination has succeeded in nearly eradicating guinea worm disease. There are records of this truly unpleasant parasite affecting human health going back thousands of years, and in 1989, there were nearly 1 million cases globally. Um, but in 2022, this unwelcome waterborne guest created just 15 cases worldwide, a decline of 99.998%. And almost all 15 of those cases occurred in Chad. I think that's a country somewhere in Africa, maybe. Chad. I've heard of it before. I think Tim has lurked. All right, Tim. Okay, be right back. Gotta get Penny to bed. No problem. Tell baby Penny I said hello. Tim's gonna work there and put Penny to bed. Let's continue on. Um, the outbreak. Hold on. I'm trying to find. Oh, okay. Sorry. We're back up on the screener. This monumental turnaround was not the result of some experimental vaccine, but simple education, teaching people how to avoid drinking contaminated water, when and where this mostly seasonal parasite is likely to be found, and how to treat water to purify it of the guinea worm. Other than Chad, guinea worm disease was also found in Uganda, which produced another medical milestone with the successful eradication of a recent Ebola outbreak. The outbreak began in September, driven on by the incurable Sudan strain of the virus. It was the worst outbreak in 20 years. But even though there is no vaccine for the Sudan strain, the health authorities managed to contain to just 2 administrative districts and 142 confirmed cases. Quote, the magic bullet has been our communities who understood the importance of doing what was needed to end the outbreak and took action, said Health Minister Dr. Jane Ruth Asing Ocero last Wednesday. Vaccine trials involving Oxford University are currently underway for the Sudan strain, but until that time, health authorities received congratulations for their swift actions and were thanked for their lessons learned. So again, those are three huge victories of these diseases. And again, cancer, again, they're making advances to stop it, but also people, I think more of the story is people are getting more educated. Um, there's no vaccine. Again, these little the third world countries, there's no vaccines. They're doing more of it mental and educating themselves. Like, hey, you can't be drinking dirty water. You can't be doing this. And then you got to find a way to be like, here's how you can do it safely, and that drops all your rates down. The Ebolas, the giddy worm, and also the cancer. Though cancer again, uh, less dangerous habits you do, the better, and also more of people finding cures for the cancer. So I really do believe this as well. So this is kind of good news um, to hear this from 2022. Hopefully this year also this is it will continue to trend upwards to more and more, um, or should be less of knowing these diseases are around. So um, some good news I will say on that end there. So cancer plummets, guinea worm eradicated by Ebola. Three huge wins for humanity, and this is for Andy Corbley of the Good News Network for January 19th of 2023. As we are going to story number 6 already, guys. Wow. So we're just rolling through these stories tonight. Thank you guys so much for watching as well. And is this story number 6? Hold on. Sorry. Yeah, story number 6. Sorry. I'm right. Or 5. No, this is 5. 7 story 5. But we got 2 more to go. So but I thank you guys so much for watching, and all this for tonight will be on the Discord. Um, make sure to hit exclamation point Discord, or you know what? I'll do it. I'll do it. If you want to join my Discord, make sure to drop on in, follow, and all the stories that you see here tonight or previous shows will be on there, as well as a positive chat room and when I will go live and all of that. So that's all on my Discord if you want to follow. A lot of good stuff on the Discord, so make sure to check it out. All right, so story number 5 of 7 for tonight. The Year of the Rabbit. We're in the Chinese New Year here. So the Year of the Rabbit hops into 2023. What it means and how to tell if you were born under its sign. This is from Andy Corbley of the Good News Network for January 19th of 2023. So we're in the Year of the Rabbit this year. So let's see what the Year of the Rabbit will bring to us um, this year. So if you guys are ready, let's go ahead and take a look at our 5th story of 7 this evening. Here we go. Celebrate the Chinese New Year or Lunar New Year this Sunday, or just past Sunday, as we say farewell to the celestial sign of the tiger and enter the Year of the Rabbit. Ella, the bunny mom, is very happy. We're in the Year of the Rabbit. There you go. I got the bunny up. um, in the Chinese zodiac, rabbits are born every 12 years in 2011, 99, 87, 75, 63, 51, and so on. Rabbit is a zodiac sign associated with the element of wood. Although 2023 is the year of the water rabbit, the water rabbit. Let's continue on. For the unattained, There are 10 heavenly stems represented by the five elements and the yin yang um, dichotomy, 5 times 2 equals 10, which make up traditional Chinese astrology of a 60-year cycle. Water years of yin will end in 2023 as an example, while water years of yang will end in 2022. Therefore, this is the earthly branch sign rabbit in the heavenly stern of water in the year of yin. The last year of the water rabbit was 1963. Wow. With that out of the way, what will a yin water rabbit expect this year? Here you go. The horoscopes published in anticipation of the year of the rabbit suggest a year that's anything but dull for. This is particularly because when averaged across a variety of horoscope websites, there's almost no overlap. They all say completely different things. Expect either incredible challenge, incredible reward, or anything in between. It's a good year to have a baby. If Tim's watching, it's also a bad year to have a baby. So it's a good year to have it. It's a bad year to have it. So it's a good year to start a new business. It's also a bad year to start a new business. Rabbits will be healthy, but they also shouldn't eat too much if they live in a temperate climate. But they also need to spend a lot of money to prevent aging, and they should have a lot of checkups. But they will also experience a lot of physical training breakthroughs. One gets the point. So, pretty much you're saying, um, hey, you can do this, but maybe not do that. So it's like a 50, this rabbit's like a 50-50. Anyway, let's get to the subtitle here. Interesting facts about the sign of the rabbit. Here we go. The reason the rabbit is the fourth Chinese zodiac sign sounds a lot like the old tale of the tortoise and the hare. When the Jade Emperor called all the animals to his palace, the rabbit, who was mighty proud of his speed, arrived first only to see no other animal was there. Taking a nap beside the road, he woke up to discover the tiger, ox, and mouse had all arrived before him. The most famous water rabbit of modern times is Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is a water rabbit, the greatest basketball player to ever live. Although the horoscope for the water rabbit and the rabbit in general is of a quiet, super polite, masculine trait, scholar that is gentle, weak willed, and quick to learn, and no one who ever met Michael Jordan described him as any of these things. Um, Famous rabbits in general include Albert Einstein, Earth, Angelina Jolie, and former spouse Brad Pitt, David Beckham, um, Wood, and Lionel Messi, Fire. Something about these woods and fires and earths must mean something. But anyway, one thing the horoscopes agree on is that rabbits, especially in this year of the water rabbit, since water is the weakest point of matter, either when it is already dead or decayed, should stay away from roosters, the least compatible sign for rabbits. The lucky numbers are 3, 6, and 9. So if we get another $1 billion lottery, 3, 6, and 9. And the auspicious direction is southwest. Unlucky colors are brown, white, and yellow, and lucky colors are essentially everyone else. So there's your little lesson for the year of the rabbit. There again, lucky numbers 369, unlucky colors brown, white, and yellow. So I'm wearing blue. I'm doing good. But but yeah, it's interesting to hear about the year of the rabbit, what the horoscope's like. So it's more of like, hey, you can do this, but also be careful for doing this as well. It's like you can take your risk pretty much. So that's what I kind of got from it, I think. But we're in the year of the rabbit. So the year of the rabbit hops into 2023, what it means and how to tell if you were born under its sign. And again, this is from Andy Cordley at the Good News Network for January 19th of 2023. As we go on to story number 6 of 7 tonight. So after this, we got story, and then we will get to positive videos, and we got some good positive videos tonight. So stay tuned for that. And story number 6, this is looking very realistic, but actually these are cakes. A baker creates stunning cakes that are sight straight out of a cartoon. This is from the Good News Network for January 21st of 2023. Let's get a bigger picture of that. Look at that. You wouldn't. That is so unreal. Looking at that cake, it looks really like a cartoon. When I picked it out, I was like, God, this is like a cartoon. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. And the caption says, Baker Amy Bicknell cuts into her cake. Amy's Little Cakery. I think that's the name of the shop there, but that's a beautiful cake there. So if you guys are ready, let's go ahead and get started with story number 6. Here we go. A part-time baker creates epic 2D cakes that look like drawings straight out of a cartoon. Amy Bicknell was inspired to create her own cartoon cake after spotting a picture of one online. Her first attempt at the cake proved challenging as she doesn't normally work with fondant icing made of granulated sugar and water. She preferred using a cream-based ganache instead. But her animated style sliced cake soon became incredibly popular. The 44-year-old has now been um, inundated with requests from around the world for special occasions like birthdays and even wedding cakes. A video shows her entire process from covering the sponge cake in icing and perfectly smoothing it out to lining the edges with thin black fondant to create the animated effect. Many people don't even believe they are cakes until she cuts into them. Amy from Greater Manchester in England started Amy's Little Cakery in April of 2020 for fun during lockdown. And as a full-time teacher, she had no intention of it becoming a business. So I want to say this is another one. Look at this, another one of her cakes. You would never, you would think just looking at that, that's just a cartoon. That's a real cake, a real cake. Looks very beautiful, by the way. Continuing on with a quote, I created a page for my cakes. I quickly grew a following and it just spiraled from there. I never expected my account to grow so quickly, but I've been very lucky to work as a brand ambassador with several amazing companies. I love what I do and find it to be creative release from a very stressful job. Amy's Little Cakery uses the social media account on Instagram to share her creations, where she has amassed over 120,000 followers, which I don't blame. Amy hopes that her projects inspire other bakers to have a go at this trendy cake decoration. So there's the cake again. Look at that. Hey Nancy, how you doing? But look at the cake. It is so amazing. And again, you would think it's a cartoon, but it's the real deal. We're gonna end it with a couple quotes here. It really makes people look twice as they look just like a drawing. I love an illusion that you can make out of cake, and I hope they can make people smile. And we're going to have a video here, but before that, Nancy hopped into the room. Hopefully, you're doing good, Nancy. So good to see you. And awesome cake. My daughter's friend does cake decorating like that. Over that she does something like this though, like the cartoon, because a 2D cake. That's kind of amazing to see 2D cakes there. So, but let's go ahead and get started with the video here. I want to see how. I wonder if they'll show how she makes it. So let's take a look. That is some mind blowing stuff. I, and Nancy did put I like the time lapse of the how she makes them. It's more like she's decorating stuff, like real life. Like I thought it was like a cult or something. She was doing there and doing a little bit of surgery with the cake, but um, wow. And the inside is decorated too. That it is amazing. I like cake, but I don't know if I would want to eat it. I don't know if I would want to eat this. That's again, it's mind blowing. How she done that? That is very mind blowing. That looks very, very realistic. So I'm gonna have to give her a follow on Instagram because that's very amazing what she's done. And again, if you just take a look at that, it's like, oh, a cartoon picture. No, it's a real life cake. So it's very amazing what she has done. And again, she's done this when there was the lockdowns and the pandemic, just to do something. And now she's getting a lot of orders, which I don't blame her. Blame people for doing because that's amazing stuff she's done there. So Baker creates stunning cakes that are straight out of a cartoon. And this is from the Good News Network for January 21st, 2023. That's all I'm going to say. I'm mind blown by that. That's incredible. So I wonder if that will be the new trend now. We'll see. But anyway, so this we're going to do our last positive stories for this evening before we get to videos. And I thought I could end it with the cake, but I'm like, nah. I think we're have a little bit of some inspiration here. Um, Draco, hey man, how you doing? 101-year-old woman reveals her secret to longevity is dancing every day. This is from the Good News Network for January 21st of 2023. Dancing at 101 years old. So let's go ahead and take a look at the story. But first, let me get the comments real quick. And okay, yeah, Draco's here. Hey man, how you doing? Hopefully you're having a great Tuesday, man. Great Tuesday. Nancy says, don't know if it's me or you, but the audio is glitching a bit. Is my audio okay? Testing one, two, three. Testing one, two, three. We'll see if we hold on. I can check. Hold on, real quick here. Draco says keto hot dogs. Let me turn my thing up here. Oh, my audio's good. I can hear myself on here. Oh, my audio's good. There you go. So could be you. It could be. Right now it's okay. Okay. So I kind of do have the audio on my second screen here up. So Draco says keto hot dogs. Do they make such thing as keto hot dogs? If not, you can invent that. And she says right now it's okay. All right. If it happens, just hop back out and hop back in. Um, we had trouble with our internet dropping for a second or two. Okay. The good old internet. The good old internet always comes in and take away our joy sometimes. I know a few streamers have been having internet problems, so but it's good to know in case somebody say, "Hey, something's wrong here." Double check and make sure. So, but I think I'm doing good over here, and hopefully you guys' internet are good as well. So, all right, so let's get to our last positive story before we get to videos here. Again, a 101-year-old woman reveals her secret to longevity is dancing. So let's go ahead and take a look at this story here. So here we go. This 101-year-old woman says the secret to keeping herself young and healthy includes daily ballet moves on the bear. Dinky Flowers, that is her name, is one of the oldest women in the UK and is eager to offer her tips for longevity. She said, quote, I couldn't live without dancing, and I think it's what kept me young and happy. It sounds hard, but it's never too late to start, said the former professional dancer. Once you know what you're doing and being taught by a teacher, you love it. She started dancing at the age of 3 and still teaches lessons at her dance school called the Dinky Flowers Stage School to this day. I just love dancing. Always have and I always will. I advise anyone and everyone to start dancing to keep your body and mind young. Every day I go and dance in the studio. The work you do keeps your body supple. Reflecting on her long life, the mother of one who lives in Shoreham by Sea in Sussex, England, says she won't stop dancing until they take me away in a box. So there she is right there. As we continue on, quote, I just couldn't live without dancing. You don't have to go mad, but it's good to keep on moving your body, bending your knees and stuff like that. Dinky made her TV debut a couple years ago, tap dancing her way through auditions to appear on The Greatest Dancer at 98 years young. Dinky, who has 4 grandchildren, says helping people dance is her life. Quote, I see people just sitting on their bottoms all day and reading, but it's important to get up and keep on moving. Do something. It doesn't matter how old you are. You could be 30 or 100, but as long as you have movement, you are fit and well. And I couldn't agree with her more. As long as you keep on moving, don't sit on the couch, watch TV, snacking, all of that. That's the secret way to longevity. And I think this is what's on her 100th birthday, by the way, for this picture. But incredible stuff. And it's all by dancing. So technically, I'm kind of doing that in the private, but um, you know, just dancing, moving around, even walking or jogging, just something to get you motivated and keep you walking, um, and some good cardio. That will definitely keep you motivated for years and years to come. So, good advice for Miss Dinky Flowers there. This is our last positive stories for this evening. 101-year-old woman reveals her secret to longevity is dancing every day. And this is from the Good News Network for January 21st of 2023. As we get ready to transition into positive videos now. And thank you guys so much for being in here. That's some good advice by Miss Flowers there. Let's see how you operate here. Come on, come on, come on, come on. It's just giving me the hourglass right now. Here we go. Skip ads. All right. We'll make sure we're not playing. Okay. All right. We're good. We're on our videos now. Um, again, great advice by Miss Flowers there. Really, really good advice. Again, dance, cardio up, and all of that. Dorico with the heart there, the heart from Miss Flowers there. He also says, "Great, sounds like we are going to a fitness pole class." We'll see. I'm just gonna be swinging woo woo. So I don't know. Nancy says I sit too much. I try to get up every hour and get 250 steps. I mean, as long as you're getting your steps in and you're walking, you're doing good. You're doing good. Um, he also says I can't do much until I get my knee fixed. I hear you. So at least you're taking, at least you're, at least you're getting up and you're motivating. That's the important thing. But yes, don't overdo it as well. So I do see people, with I know someone that I follow on Facebook, well-known actor. I think he had like a knee or kind of like a knee or a foot or something in that area, and he was doing weights, and then he put on the post the next day and said, "Hey, I overdid it." So it's good to have your activities, but also if you're in a situation of say like knees and stuff, don't overdo it. So at least you're active. I would say at least. So all right. Anyway, We're on positive videos now. We got 4 positive videos this evening. And again, after this video, I did say I'm going to trend back more of the personal stories. So I think we have Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's going to be our next one in his journey. We're going to Dwayne Betts, his story. He was in jail. I think it was carjacking or something. And he turned his life around to help the youth and others as well. So you want to stick around for that story. And our final story, I've decided to put this in the end because this should be more of a conversation talker, but also you're going to see some college students how they made kind of like homelessness and turn that into getting degrees and all of that. So kind of I want to end it out on that one, and that should be a very interesting look as well. Once we get to that last video, very interesting look on how they survived. Um, just living, I don't know, nowhere, but they're in college and getting their degrees and their journeys for it. So I decided to put that as last because that's kind of a conversation talker, and that's also very surprising as well. But first, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the positive stories for this month in January here of 2023, as we're about to close out the first month of this year. So let's go ahead and take a look at the video here.
New Year. New beginnings, hope. Today we are counting down on the top positive news stories of this new year. Here are the top 3 positive news stories of January 2023. If you like the video and find the content meaningful, then kindly press the super thanks button and contribute whatever you can to the channel. Your contributions will help us create more engaging and informative positive videos. Number 3. Hero ran a marathon every day in 2022 and then went to work at his job, raising $1 million for charity. For many, running a marathon is an accolade of life, a culturally fixed way of proving athletic ability and determination, but for Gary McKee, it's literally just another day in the office. McKee ran a marathon every day of 2022 to raise money for cancer treatment, and a simple multiplication problem of 26.2 into 365 will reveal he ran 9,500 miles during the year, equivalent to crossing the United States 3 times. He ran through 20 pairs of running shoes, and what's more, his marathon was only a prelude to going to work in the morning at the Sellafield nuclear site. On New Year's Eve, he finished his final marathon to cheering crowds and fireworks near his Cumbrian home. News came in that he had made his £1 million mark for Nations to Make Cancer Support and West come home. It's difficult to put into words how grateful we are to Gary for taking on this unbelievable challenge, said Hayley McKay, Director of Funding and Communications for Hospice at Home West Cumbria. The physical and mental strength he has shown is incomprehensible. Number 2. British company develops first tractor in the world to be completely powered by cow dung. New Holland's brand new tractor runs on liquefied methane, allowing farmers to decrease their emissions and save money on expensive diesel. But that isn't the only reason it's more efficient, as the company says the fuel can easily be produced by methane from cow pies, allowing for a more circular economic model in the most circular of industries. The pioneering tractor is claimed to be a match for the performance of standard diesel-powered versions. The groundbreaking machine was developed by British company Bennamann, which has been researching and developing biomethane production for over a decade. Waste byproducts from a herd as small as 100 cows are turned into a fuel called fugitive methane in a biomethane storage unit based on the farm. A cryogenic tank fitted on the tractor keeps the methane in liquid form at -162 degrees centigrade, giving the vehicle as much power as a diesel, but with significant emission savings. It was put through its paces during a pilot run on a farm in Cornwall, where carbon dioxide emissions were slashed from 2,500 metric tons to 500 metric tons in just a year. The company is also investigating the wider uses of the technology and hope it could one day be used to charge electric vehicles in rural locations. Number 1. Tanzania scraps independence celebration and diverts funds to kids. Tanzania's President Samia Suluhu Hassan has cancelled Independence Day celebrations and directed that the budget instead be used to build dormitories for children with special needs. The 61st Independence Day event was to cost $445,000, money that will now be used to build 8 dormitories in primary schools around the country. Tanzania's Minister of State, George Simbachawene, said that the money had been disbursed and the dormitories will be built starting January 2023. He said that instead of having parades and other national celebrations, the East African country will commemorate Independence Day by having public dialogues on development. Usually, Independence Day celebrations are marked with pomp and state banquets. This is not, however, the first time Tanzania has cancelled the celebrations. In 2015, then President John Magufuli cancelled celebrations and diverted funds towards the building of a road in the commercial capital, Dar es Salaam. If you like the video and find the content meaningful, then kindly press.
Hmm. Okay, I'm about to pull up the second video, but it's very interesting to hear that last one there. Um, Canceling their Independence Day and the money for it, so they probably had a budget for it, um, just to help out the country. Which kind of, honestly, that's a very good idea. To be honest with you, what they're doing there. Very interesting stuff on that. Again, canceling their Independence Day to build a dormitory for the kids there. I guess maybe homeless kids, but kind of interesting. That's kind of is a positivity there. Just to do it for people in need there. So that was very interesting. I kind of like that one. The second one was with the tractor and the cow there. I tried to get a hints of it, but probably something good for the environment. And as Rico said in the comment here, can someone contact that man and tell him to raise money for me? Thank you in advance. No, Dorico, we can just walk to work. Walk to work while raising money. Imagine how many miles would that be? And plus, we will have to leave uh, very super early to get to work. A nice little 7 hour walk, 7 hours back. So, but a man walks marathon the whole 2022 to raise money while going to work. So, very interesting stories there for those three. So, interesting, interesting stuff. Dorico says, "No, I'm taking the cab." He says, "I'm taking the cab. I'm not walking." But anyway, so those are your your top 3 positive stories for this month in January. As we will move on to video number 2, we're going to look at Arnold Schwarzenegger, kind of like going back to the old Ray of Sunshine when I just bring up a celebrity motivational speech and get to listen to it and how he or she um, conquered barriers or how did they get to where they are and just their life story. It's more of an inspiration to other people. So we're going to take a look at that, and also there again 2 other stories of inspirational people as well and how they broke barriers and help out others or help themselves out to succeed. So let's take a look at Arnold Schwarzenegger's story here.
I'm here to talk about success. The first rule of success is to have a vision. You see, if you don't have a vision of where you go, and if you don't have a goal where you go, you turn around and you never end up anywhere. So I was very fortunate that I stumbled onto my vision. I mean, as you know, I was born in 1947 in Austria after the Second World War. And I didn't really like Austria when I grew up. I couldn't wait to get out of there. I couldn't see myself becoming a farmer or a worker in a factory or anything like that, even though my parents wanted me to stay there and have a normal life. But that was their vision, not mine. My vision was totally different. I felt that I was born for something special, for something unique, for something big. Then one day I went to school. I remember I was 11 years old, and they showed a documentary about America. And there they showed in this documentary the huge skyscrapers, the high-rises, the huge bridges, the 6-lane freeways, and all of this stuff. And I said to myself, that's where I want to be. I don't want to be around here with these little farmhouses and these little buildings. I want to be in America. One day after school, I walked by a store in Graz. So I went inside and I looked around and I looked at this stuff, and then I saw a magazine. I saw a bodybuilding magazine that had Reg Park on the cover. Reg Park was then a 3-time Mr. Universe. And I saw him on the big screen as Hercules. I read that and I said to myself, wow, this is the blueprint for my life. This is exactly what I want to do. I want to become a bodybuilding champion just like Reg Park. I want to get into movies just like Reg Park. And I want to make millions of dollars and be rich and famous just like Reg Park. Do you know how great it felt that I knew where I was going? Imagine the majority of people don't know where they're going. I knew where I was going, that I'm going to become this bodybuilding champion just like him. So it was just a question of how do you do it? I was so relieved because when you have a goal, when you have a vision, everything becomes easy. So people always ask me, when they saw me in the gym in the pumping iron days, they said, why is it that you're working out so hard? 5 hours a day, 6 hours a day, and you have always a smile on your face. And I told people all the time, I said, because to me, I'm shooting for a goal. In front of me is the Mr. Universe title. So every rep that I do gets me closer to accomplishing that goal, to make this goal, this vision turn into reality. Every single set that I do, every repetition, every weight that I lift will get me a step closer to turn this goal into reality. So I couldn't wait to do another 500-pound squat. I couldn't wait to do another 500-pound bench press. I couldn't wait to do another 2,000 reps of sit-ups. I couldn't wait for the next exercise. With the age of 20, I went to London and I won the Mr. Universe contest as the youngest Mr. Universe ever. And it was because I had a goal. So let me tell you something, visualizing your goal and going after it makes it fun. You got to have a purpose no matter what you do in life. You got to have a purpose. 74% hate their job in America. Now, there's not much different when you come to Europe. The majority of people don't like what they're doing because they're really not doing it because they didn't have a goal and they followed this goal. They just aimlessly drift around, and then all of a sudden there's a job opening, so they get that job because you have to work. But then when you work, it's a chore. It's work. It's not fun. So if you think about only a quarter of the people really enjoy what they're doing in life. That is unbelievable if you think about it. So I felt so blessed that I knew what I was doing. It's like a medical student that studies and knows he wants to become a doctor. You know where to go. And the same thing is also in politics. I remember that in politics, I had a very clear vision that I will be the leader of California. That's as far as I could go because I was not born in America, so I could not run for president. So being the governor of the 5th largest state, I should say the largest state, the 5th largest economy in the world, was for me really the ultimate title, the ultimate accomplishment in politics. So even though people came up to me and says, why don't you go and run for something smaller? You're never gonna make it. I ran for governor, and then 2 months later, I became governor of the state of California. Again, because I had a very clear vision what I'm gonna do with California. So that's rule number 1, have a vision. Rule number 2 is don't listen to the naysayers. Don't listen to the naysayers. Everything I ever did, the thing that I heard out of people's mouth was, that's impossible. That can't be. People that came to me It can be done. I heard it can be done. When they said no, I heard yes. And when they said it's impossible, I heard it is possible. I'm a strong believer of what Nelson Mandela said, that everything is always impossible until someone does it. Well, I'm going to be the one that said to myself, I'm going to do it and I'm going to show it to them. Maybe it has never been done before. That's perfectly fine with me. But I'm going to do it. And I did not listen to the naysayers. It's all about the hard work that you put in. I said to myself, in bodybuilding, I worked out 5-6 hours a day. I'm going to do the same thing now for acting. And of course, I went to college to study English. I studied voice, accent removal, acting classes, and all of this stuff, all day long. I worked and I worked and I worked. And within a short period of time, I made one movie called Hercules in New York, which of course went right into the toilet. But it didn't discourage me. I still had the same vision. And then all of a sudden I did Streets of San Francisco. I did Stay Hungry and Pumping Iron and The Villain. And then all of a sudden I was asked by Dino De Laurentiis and by Universal Studio, biggest studio, to star in Conan the Barbarian. And after I did Conan the Barbarian, the director at the press conference said to the press, the director was John Milius. He said to the press, if we wouldn't have had Arnold, we would have had to build one. So think about that. The very body that they said can never be sold because the time is wrong. A few years later, I'm doing Conan the Barbarian, and it was the #1 hit at the box office when it came out in the summer of '82. Think about that. And the director says, if we wouldn't have had his body, we would have had to build one. So all of a sudden, my body became an asset, not a liability. And the same thing was with Terminator. After we were finished filming Terminator, Jim Cameron said to the press, if Arnold wouldn't have had that accent and talked like a machine, I think the movie wouldn't have worked. So think about that. The body and the accent that they attacked was an asset. But I didn't listen to those losers. I didn't listen to them at all. It's just the reality of it is that you cannot listen to the naysayers. So this is a very important lesson for all of you. So when someone says, no, this is a stupid idea, you in your mind, you don't have to say it, but in your mind just say it is a you. You're not. Or do you know?
So there you have it. Arnold Schwarzenegger's his message to kind of to his success and what he had, pretty much said his clear goals. He always had a set of goals in his life, but also to ignore the naysayers. Come on, thing. Also to ignore the naysayers. I think this is we'll skip that. Sorry. Because like he said in the video, Conan the Barbarian, when it happened, if they needed a good person for the body there, they would have had to make the body. They liked the body. They said that's why the movie made it a success. Same with Terminator, like he said, if he didn't have the accent to make him sound like a robot. Plus, again, body. The Terminator would have been a success. So have a clear goal and ignore the naysayers. That's pretty much self-explanatory and clear and cut by all means. So that was a great video by Mr. Arnold Schwarzenegger there. And our next story is of a person named Dwayne Betts. During his younger years, he got in trouble with the law, and as you will see with this our next video here, um, what he did, and also how did he overcome it, and now helping others stay away from crime or just all the bads in the street there. So let's go ahead and take a look at our next video, and this is of again Mr. Dwayne Betts.
Important is a second chance. Proof that sometimes it can make all the difference in the world.
Everything I know of home is captured in an image of a boy running from the police, his arms flailing unlike anything you'd expect to fly.
Reginald Dwayne Betts is a poet, playwright, and performer. He's also an attorney.
Hours before I pulled the pistol, I kissed my mother goodnight. I told her I loved her, but when has love ever been enough?
So if the word overachiever comes to mind, Betts says it's the result of another word that also describes him: felon.
I haven't known you that long, but I can't even imagine that the person I know would have found himself at a shopping mall carjacking somebody.
Yeah, I know it was almost like a kind of black swan event in my life. You know, nothing would have prepared me for it, and nothing would have prepared me for what happened after.
When Dwayne Betts was 16, an honors student in Maryland, he and a group of teens carjacked a vehicle. 25 years later, he still can't quite explain it.
They weren't friends. The guy who gave me the gun, don't know his name now, didn't know his name then. So it was just one of these things where if it wasn't true, I wouldn't believe that it was true.
Although he had no criminal history and the victims were not physically harmed, Dwayne Betts was tried as an adult and spent almost the next 9 years in prison.
You know, I think that was the worst part of all of it, really. You know, being 16 and having to tell your mom that you're locked up, and then also having to tell her that you did it. And this is probably why I immediately started figuring out what I'm gonna be in the world. You know, I planned on being an engineer, but I said to myself, I said, 9 years in prison. The only thing I'm guaranteed to have is paper and an ink pen. I'm gonna be a writer.
After a fight landed him in solitary, other inmates slipped him books.
They had created a kind of underground library. Hey, yo, send me a book.
He describes the moment and the sound in a one-man show he wrote.
And it came. Kind of magic. The Black Poets by Dudley Randall.
It is how he discovered poetry.
I'm in a hole. Summertime in Virginia, it's hot. I'm meeting and discovering Lucille Clifton, Sonia Sanchez, Robert Hayden, Amiri Baraka.
Am I right that poetry gave you a way to tell stories?
And it gave me a, structure. It gave me a vision. And it gave me a way to hold something in my head that I could articulate in a short span of time.
Betts was released when he was 24. His first book, published in 2009, was a memoir about life in prison. 3 books of poetry followed, one entitled Felon, the simple word that dogs prison inmates long after their release.
If you do time in prison, one of the things that you become accustomed to is people telling you what you aren't and what you can't do. You can't rent an apartment in this place because you have a felony conviction. You can't work at my job because you have a felony conviction.
But Betts was able to Prince George's Community College. He got a job running a bookstore, which is where he met a classmate, Therese Robertson.
He said on the second date, he had to tell you something that was very difficult to tell you.
That's when he told me that he was just released out of prison a couple of months ago. It kind of took me aback a little bit, but it didn't make me look at him any differently.
You didn't have second thoughts about a second date?
No, actually, I did. He comes across so kind and gentle and kind of comes off as a nerd, but I feel bad saying that.
We were like safety blankets for each other in a way.
They married and supported each other through school. Dwayne got a master's degree and went on to law school at Yale.
At some point, I decided that I'm not getting away from prison. It's a kind of gravity on my life, but it also could be the lens through which I think about the world. So my life became better in some ways when I embraced the fact that this is not a thing that I could run from it.
The past has given Dwayne Betts something valuable, even enviable, a mission.
First 5 prisons I was at, we didn't have a library at all.
He started a nonprofit called Freedom Reads that designs, builds, and places mobile libraries in prison housing units.
That's about why we make the decisions we make. So the biases that we have.
So you read most of these books that you donated in here?
I read a bunch of them. What does it mean if you put this library in the housing unit so that every time they look out of that cell, they're not just seeing the desperation and frustration and another bit of monotony?
We finished this piece for you.
This looks so beautiful.
Is that the walnut?
That is,
Yeah.
it's black walnut, yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful. Look at that.
Betts has thought out every aspect of the libraries, not just the books, but also the reclaimed wood that will hold them.
Oh, this is fantastic. You're seeing your friend go to there and grab books. Now what was you reading? Now you got a conversation, because the conversation is not just what was on TV or who won a spades game, but now we just added another one. And the other conversation is definitely going to have light in it.
Keith, Juvie, Fetz.
Dwayne Betts lives his life as an argument for second chances.
Can't get right. Who nicknames their child can't get right?
At a recent rehearsal for his show that he now performs in prisons, he is surrounded by paper kite made from clothing once worn by prison inmates.
Out of everything, I think this is probably like the most personal work. This is like sweat in this, it's like blood in this. It's like years. It's like a decade of living.
Some of the clothing came from inmates Betts had served time with and then later helped get parole.
How is it really possible for me to imagine forgetting the people that I spent puberty with, that I spent my early 20s with, people who wrote me letters when I was going through college, people who would get my book in the prison library and be like, Shaheed, we got your book.
It's Dwayne's drive, despite his past,
This piece, take it.
that Therese Betts hopes will be an example for their sons, 14-year-old Makai and 10-year-old Miles.
I think that's one of the things that I love about him, just because he can show our children the tenacity and to always have that drive and persevere. And life is hard for all of us for a lot of different reasons. And you can still be the person you want to be despite all of those obstacles.
This past fall, Betts got a mysterious phone call informing him that he had won a MacArthur Fellowship that comes with a $625,000 grant and a new word to describe him: genius.
It didn't really go to his head because, it wasn't like he just realized, oh, I'm a genius now, because, he already knew that.
In fact, Reginald Dwayne Betts says the fellowship says far more about the people who surround him.
I love the MacArthur piece, but more than it affirming my healthy ego, I think it affirms the faith that a lot of folks had in me when they backed me when everybody else was saying no. Therese has to know that it mattered when we met like 20 years ago. I've done all of this, not to make you love me, but to be like, I was worthy of the love you gave me.
So that was Mr. Jerome Betts there, with his story there. Amazing story by him. Again, as a young teen, have to be in jail. Get through this. Like, have a right frame of mind here. Good old YouTube. But just experience of going to jail, and then come out, and now he's a poet and goes to different correctional facilities to give, I guess, his poetry, or to speak to them. I guess how to change their lives around, and he has helped some get paroled as well, and also creating a library for them as well. So he has done a lot. uh, second chances, and also has went to school and met his wife and all of that. So that's a good way to do your second chance there in life, just to help out others. Um, just say, hey, get away from the trouble. Um, you know, get a fresh start, enjoy a new life. So kudos to him, to Mr. Betts there. Um, so that was our third video. This is our last video for tonight, for the show. And I thought I decided to end it with this because this was kind of a shocker. Um, it shouldn't be, but it kind of is a little bit of a shocker. But um, we're gonna hear some college students here in a minute, and as I mentioned earlier, some have to go homeless. Um, homeless. That's right. And it's incredible to hear their stories of how they made it through or what kind of help they had, in order to continue on with their college careers and get their degrees and all of that. It's pretty incredible stuff to watch here. So this will be our last video for tonight. I know I usually end it with quotes, but I feel like this is kind of an eye opener that y'all will need to see here, to close out the show. So I decided to put this at the end here. So let's go ahead and take a look at this video. This is our last video for tonight here on A Ray of Sunshine. Let's go ahead and take a look.
The College Board says that for a typical student, even low budget for living expenses comes to almost $17,000 a year, with housing making up nearly half the cost. No part-time job could ever put a dent in that, which may explain why more and more students are finding themselves out in the cold. Our cover story is reported by Lee Cowan.
Jasmine Bigham, a college senior, can almost taste graduation. Like most students here at Humboldt State University, nestled in the shade of the California redwoods, finals are coming, and she's studying hard. But it's her life outside her college classroom that may be the toughest test of all.
The hardest thing was just like not being able to find housing. And so that was like the big issue that stood in my way.
So what'd you do?
I lived in my car and then I kind of couch surfed. After that, I moved into like this big trailer, and then the trailer roof collapsed a little bit.
All of that makes the van she now lives in seem not so bad. Yes, a van. She lives here in a parking lot, not far from the library.
Here is where I keep all my like bathroom supplies. And then here is where I keep like my pots and pans.
Being homeless isn't something you'd expect from a student on a Ford Family Foundation scholarship. But even that money wasn't enough to help with the high cost of housing near campus.
There was some like emotional points, where I just was like crying because it was hard. I like, how I think about things is like, I put myself here, so I had to deal with it.
But you put yourself here for a good reason, to get through school.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's a goal at the end of the tunnel, I guess.
Every morning, she makes her way to a women's locker room on campus. Here, she brushes her teeth, showers, and then heads off to class. Later, it's back to the van.
What is it that's so important for you to go to school and get your degree that you'd sort of put yourself through all of this?
Like I'm going to go become something and I'm going to succeed in it and keep trying. If things are hard, like you just got to keep trying.
The number of homeless college students struggling just like Jasmine is hard to quantify, but it's big. According to financial aid applications, there are more than 6,000 students who claim to be homeless.
I think the idea that hardworking, talented people who are trying to get an education are being derailed by homelessness is a crisis.
Sarah Goldrick-Rabb is the leading national researcher on the problem. She's founder of the Hope Center and a professor of higher education policy at Temple University in Philadelphia.
One of the things that's changed in the United States over time is that if you grow up without money, we have sent a pretty strong signal to those students that financial aid is available and you should try college because it's your route out of poverty.
So part of the problem is that people who weren't going to college before
go to college now. It's hard to view that as a problem. I'd say the problem is that they're going to college, but we didn't build the support for them.
Unlike elementary and secondary school students whose families can get some support from things like federal free breakfast and lunch programs, for college students, much of that assistance dries up.
Every time you tell people about this problem, they seem surprised,
Right.
shocked.
Exactly. I mean, it's been hidden. I think a lot of people didn't talk about it. I also think that most people just think about tuition. They don't think about living.
Some of those struggling with housing responded to a recent survey that Goldrick Rab conducted. It was the largest of its kind ever done, involving more than 43,000 students at 66 institutions. The result? Nearly 1 in 10 college students said they were homeless in the last year, meaning they had at least one night where they didn't know where they were going to sleep.
I tend to think the people who are struggling the most are not taking our surveys. And that's the part that scares me, right? Is the possibility
But you don't know how deep the problem really
the
is.
problem is actually a lot worse.
Colleges generally don't like to talk about homelessness, she says, and neither do most students. Dom Cornell is a 22-year-old undergraduate at DePaul University in Chicago.
I didn't want anybody to look at me different.
So you just kept it to yourself?
Yeah. There's that underlying feeling of just shame. That feeling of loneliness.
He's studying political science with the hopes of one day going to law school.
My dad never went to college. My mom never went to college. I would be the first person. I knew I had to do it.
Dom's parents have been out of the picture since childhood. His mom had struggled with addiction, and his dad has been in and out of prison. Money for his tuition comes from a patchwork of funding: scholarships, student loans, and some financial aid. He stretched all of that as far as he could. But last spring, he found himself living in a shelter outside of town.
Sometimes you don't make it to the shelter in time because you have to be there at a certain time to get in. Sometimes I had to sleep in parks or in forests.
How often would you go hungry?
Like 2 days without really eating a meal.
2 days?
I hate to say it, but I've eaten out of the trash before. When you're just trying to survive, you'll do whatever it takes.
He had to sneak onto a commuter train just to get to class most days. And one day, it almost became too much to bear.
As passionate as I was about my classes and about the things I was learning about, it just got too hard to be homeless. I remember I was standing on the platform of the L train, and honestly, I thought about jumping, just giving up.
What kept you from jumping?
I think it was knowing very well that there are a lot more kids like me.
DePaul USA, a national homeless charity, has seen the problem all across the country, and in Chicago, started a homeless housing program called DOTS, designed just for students. At least this house, where it could offer at least a half a dozen students a low-cost place to stay, as long as they keep up their grades and do chores around the house.
A lot of these students either had a place to call home and lost it, or never had a place to call home ever.
Abe Morris, the director here, has never forgotten the day Dom came asking for help.
He came into my office and I said, "Hey, have you eaten today?" He's like, "You know what? I said, let's go get lunch." And in the middle of the lunch, he stopped eating. He said, "Abe, I'm sorry. I can't eat no more because I don't eat that often. My stomach is shrinking. I can't eat that much food." And at that point, it hit me like, oh my gosh, like this guy needs someplace to go now.
So Abe converted an office into one more bedroom, an act that very likely saved Dom's life.
It's still surreal to me. I still wake up sometimes and it's like, well, I'm here.
Even now still?
Yeah, even now. I feel like a weight is lifted off my shoulders. Like I can concentrate on my classes. I made it on the dean's list.
Congrats.
I had never done so well during a college quarter.
But you never had the stability before.
That's all I needed.
Homelessness is indiscriminate. It can affect anyone, anywhere. Sarah Goldrick Rab has found students struggling all across the country, from big universities to rural colleges.
There are middle-class people going through these problems, and they're going through them for the very first time in college. Most people don't realize the research on homelessness indicates that one of the guiding factors contributing to homelessness is just bad luck.
Luck isn't something most educators can spot, even if they see these struggling students every day.
I remember walking across campus one day and a young man walked up to me and he says, are you the college president? I said, yes, I am. He says, well, I want to talk to you because I live under a freeway. And he ended by saying, and I want you to know that there are other students on campus just like me.
Catherine Jeffrey is president of Santa Monica College in Los Angeles. It doesn't offer housing, but the school has tried to address students who are going hungry by offering food pantries like this one.
So we have a variety of canned beans and ravioli and, of course, peanut butter.
All the college staples.
All the college staples.
While helpful, they're not the healthiest options. So students worked with administrators to organize this farmers market.
Hey, potato!
Where fresh fruits and vegetables are handed out each week.
Thank you.
No questions asked. But perhaps the most innovative idea came from UCLA students who, with the help of donations and grants, set up the Students for Student Shelter in a Santa Monica church.
So this is our kitchen.
It's completely run by more than 80 student volunteers, like Jordan Vega.
We have 4 student volunteers from UCLA who are on site every day. We cook dinner for the residents. We eat together. And we really bond with each other.
It's a community.
It's a community.
Maritza Lopez knows she was lucky to get in. There's a waiting list of at least 100 students.
So that's mine right there.
She's studying art history at nearby Santa Monica College and shares this small room with 9 other homeless students. As small as it is, it's co-ed.
So you don't have a lot of privacy here, though, do you?
I think it's pretty private. I can't really ask for too much because I've been given a lot.
Because the students who run it also have to go to class, the shelter has to empty out from 7 in the morning all the way until 7 at night. Usually, Maritza passes that time by studying on campus.
I always kind of say, hey, let me think about today and tomorrow. How am I going to survive? Like, what can I do today? What can I do tomorrow?
So where does all that optimism come from?
I don't know. Got a little soul in here, right?
You have a big soul, I think.
This past June, Maritza got her associate's degree, graduating with honors.
It's good. It's not high honors, but
You say that like you're shy about it. That's fantastic.
it hurts though, like knowing that what if I did have a place to live? I could have done way better than what I'm doing now.
Maritza is now out of that shelter, and she's working on her bachelor's at her dream school, UCLA, which is covering her tuition. It was the volunteers at the Students for Student Shelter who helped hook her up with cheap housing near campus. As for Jasmine Bigham, she and her van have finally left that parking lot. Last month, she graduated from Humboldt State with a degree in kinesiology, with hopes of becoming either a teacher or an athletic trainer. We will likely never know just how many homeless students start college but then have to leave without their degrees. An elusive statistic that Dom Cornell says is actually a loss for everyone.
We don't want to be looked at as, oh, there goes that homeless college kid. We're future lawyers. We're future doctors and future politicians and nurses and teachers. We may be homeless, but we're a lot more than that too.
Such an amazing story there of sacrifices, I could say, that the college students had to do there, just to graduate, but also knowing in their mind they're living in a state of, hey, I got nowhere to live, I don't have any food, I gotta try to make ends meet. So it's an eye opener to think about it. College kids trying to get degrees, trying to advance in their careers, their lives, but they have to do it under circumstances, and that is something to look into. And I never would thought that. Probably something in the back of my mind said maybe, but that being a growing problem That's something to think about there. Definitely to think about. You would think college housing, everything would be good, but some are just in the struggle just to advance and at least get their degrees. So um, just a story to just a video to bring up, but also it came up with some good as you see those people in the video got their degrees and now looking to um, get further degrees in their education there. So I think that was a great video to bring up, and that will all be everything that was on the show tonight will be on my Discord. So I will bring that up at the end of the show as well. And speaking of that, this is the end of the show for this evening. So I thank you guys so much for tuning in. Before I wrap up the show, I'm going to bring up when the next show will be. Our next show will be in 2 weeks on Valentine's Day, actually, Tuesday, February the 14th. Be taking a couple of weeks off. Well, how can I say this? A couple weekends off. Strange occurrence has happened. um, so if y'all guys remember, I went to the state fair back in October, I think. And before I did the whole live stream, but before I did turned on the live stream, there was a little raffle at the beginning of the fair, and told us, hey, sign up, you might win a prize and all of that. So luck came to happen that I was one of the people that got called, and I'm going somewhere. I am going to a state north of me in Williamsburg, Virginia, and staying there for the weekend. But also for Dorico, if he's still in here, he won as well, and he's going to Williamsburg as well. But we're going next week, so I'm gonna be in Virginia for a couple weeks. So for the next couple weekends, and also doing some work and all of that. So so as for the Ray of Sunshine, it will not be back until Valentine's Day, February 14th. I think after all the traveling and everything, I think I'm gonna try to try to not overdo it. But so I will be back with the positive stories on Valentine's Day. But I might hit if we go somewhere in Williamsburg and see something exciting or anything while I'm in visit, I'll go live. So I won't just be like, hey, I'm gone for 2 weeks. You ain't gonna see me for a while. I will still be on here. But as for the show, the positivity show will not be back until February 14th. So just want to put that program reminder up. But I will be doing some lives. But actually, I think I want to do a I worked yesterday, and to replace my Saturday. So maybe I might do a little bit of Saturday stream if I think about it. So we'll see about it. So that's the programming on that one. So this will be the last Ray of Sunshine until February 14th. So just a little reminder on that. Oh, Nancy says, I'm so sorry, my son called. Hey, you don't have to apologize, Nancy. You don't. You don't have to apologize. If you missed catch the replay, also catch the very end of the show with the college students. It's very good. But if you missed it, Nancy, I said I won't be back. At least this show will not be back until February 14th. I'll put it back up again because I will be away the next couple weeks, the next couple weekends, and so I'll be away. I'll be gone this weekend. Then I come back. I got to work, and then I'll be gone another weekend. Come back and work. So I will not be back. This show will not be back until February, till Valentine's Day. But if I'm in somewhere in Williamsburg and I see anything exciting, I will go live for it. We'll have a little bit of an adventure there. If I see anything exciting over there. Something exciting. Yeah, I'm going to Williamsburg, Virginia. Me and my friend Dorico, who was in here earlier, while we were at the state fair, we won the trips, a trip to Williamsburg. So his trip will be this weekend, which I will be a part of, and then we're going back to Williamsburg next week. for my trip, and he's going to come as well, and probably maybe one other. So we're going to be in Williamsburg, Virginia for 2 weeks, for 2 weekends. So if I see anything exciting, I will definitely go there. Have always wanted to go. Yeah, you should go there. Now I have not um, seen the city. I just know of Busch Gardens. I always go to Busch Gardens there. It's like, oh, Busch Gardens in Williamsburg. Let's go there. So it'll be interesting to explore, the actual city. Instead of like, hey, Busch Gardens there. Let's just go to Busch Gardens. So we'll see if we can explore the town. I will go live and we'll just, go take a look around Williamsburg. I think that would be a great idea. You'll be in Texas for 2 weeks. Oh, nice, 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 nice. How was your Florida condo? I know you did a picture of the Florida condo. I think it was a couple weeks ago. Um, hopefully it's okay. I know it was with the hurricane and all that stuff. Hopefully the condo's all right. Um, but before we get to that, let me go ahead and do my closing. My closing. My closeouts here. Discord, follow my Discord, exclamation point Discord. Everything in tonight's show will be on my Discord, so check it out. And also stories from season 2 and from Summer or Sunshine as well. Make sure to check that out. Tim was in here earlier, and Tim, thank you again for the resub for 12 months. 12 months. The Mental Health Hour tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Eastern with Tim and Gemma. Make sure to follow Tim's channel at Tim Conrad 1. Don't know what they'll be doing tomorrow, but I will let you guys know on my Discord and on Twitter of the shows as well. Jim in Chicagoland, he has Catalyst tomorrow night as well at 11 p.m. Eastern, and also Saturday Night Trivia, which I will try to be in there. I have not done trivia in his show for a year. I think the last time I did it, I had COVID, and then also it was a bad snowstorm, and that was the last time I ever did trivia. That was about a year ago. So, be nice to go back in there and relive my glory of doing some trivia. But that's Saturday night at 10 p.m. Eastern on his channel, Jim in Chicagoland. Make sure to give him a follow. He is a great supporter of this channel as well, and as always as Tim as well, and Nancy and Mawal and Rico and everybody else. And again, a little promo again. The next Ray of Sunshine broadcast will be on Valentine's Day. I will be taking a couple of weeks away from the show. Nancy says it's currently gutted, but they are going to fix it back up. Okay, gotcha. They have February blocked out for us in 2024. Oh, nice. Okay. Good, 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 good. Well, at least they're rebuilding. That's a good thing. So I know a lot of houses and stuff over there are devastated by that hurricane. And just looking at it, I was like, a lot of houses near water there. So I know some have lost houses, or some are trying to rebuild. So I'm glad they're fixing up your condo there. And they got y'all set for 2024, so that's nice. I'm so depressed because we were supposed to leave this Saturday. Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. And I've never been to Florida, and I'm trying to. I think that's something key on my bucket list. Hopefully, I'll go this year. Fingers crossed. But that's something I wanted to do because seems like it's a family curse to me that we can't go to Florida. My mom almost went to Florida. She got sick and they had to go all the way back home. So they never made it to Florida. My brother has made it to Florida. I haven't yet. I would love to. So we'll see. We'll see. And then maybe Disney World or something. I don't know where we're going to go. But the old homes are gone. The newer homes and hotels are okay. Okay. So pretty much, yeah. If they're newer homes, they're probably up to date on hurricane code, maybe in the hotels, strong building. But probably something, yeah, older. Yeah, they're probably gone. So still pray for Florida because that hurricane last year really, really did gut them. And yeah, it's a lot of rebuild. I'm pretty sure, and that's going to take them a little bit of time to rebuild in those particular areas that got hit by the hurricane there. All right, so that will be the end of the show. And you know what? Years. There you go. It probably will be years. A Cat 4. I think it was a Cat 5. I think they classified it as a Cat 4, but it was close to a Cat 5. So I'm gonna call it Cat 5 on my end. But um, I think Mawal is one. He came in here earlier, so um, I think it's best that I give him. I haven't rated Mawal in a while either, so um, I think I'll go ahead and give him a raid. So I think that's what I will do. And before that, I want to say thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Nancy, for being in here. Dorico Mawal again. He was in here earlier. We're gonna rate him. Tim was in here. I thank Tim for the resub. And anybody else that was watching, I really do appreciate you guys so much for being here tonight. And thank you all for the support and all of that. I really do appreciate you guys so much. So let's go ahead. I give Mawal a rate because I have not really rated Mawal in a while. So, and he's playing Fortnite for the first time. And he's doing a collab with Sinji. And so he's having a little bit of a collab week with some of the streamers. So make sure to give Mawal a hello and stick around at least a couple minutes to see his stream. Again, he's playing Fortnite. He's new at it. He plays old school games, but this one he's very new at it. So this should be a lot of fun. So until I come back online, whenever that will be, I'll let you know in Discord. Be positive, stay safe, be kind to one another. And I hope y'all have a great night and a great rest of your week as well. So take care, everybody. Bye bye. And let's go say hello to Mawal and Sinji on Mawal's channel. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.